When looking for the major football trophies of a country that invented modern football, has the strongest local league in the world, its local teams won so many European trophies, always produces so many superstar players. How many major trophies do you think they achieved? And we are talking about the entire history of football, since countries started competing with each other. How many titles do you think they won? Well, one. Just one trophy. Only one trophy in their entire history. If you don't know what country I am talking about, it's England. The only trophy they ever won was the 1966 World Cup. They never won any other World Cup or Euro tournament or Confederations Cup or Finalissima or Nations League, which is very disappointing because you're talking about the country that hosts the Premier League, which is considered by many to be the best league in the world. They are always packed with superstars like David Beckham, Frank Lampard, Wayne Rooney, Alan Shearer, and so much more. Assembling the English national team a lot of times feels like assembling the Avengers. But still, when it matters the most, they always seem to fail. Every summer, every competition they play, they always come up with an upset after upset after upset. All we hear is, "It's coming home." And the only one who comes home are the players, but never the silverware. So, what's happening? Why does England fail every time despite the privileges they have? Well, there are 5 reasons for why that keeps happening. The first reason is they don't have a certain principle they follow. And to understand what that means, let's look at other successful football national teams and what principle they follow. Brazil. Throughout their history, they followed the skills in dribbling, always depending on talent, and players that are very talented at getting past defenders with their fancy moves and tricks that are always appealing to the eyes, producing endless legends that are masters at dribbling like Garrincha, Ronaldo, Pelé, Neymar, Ronaldinho, Zico, and so many more that we can't keep going, or else we have to change the title of the video to Dribblers of Brazil. Let's take another example like Italy. They have always been following the principle of defending throughout their history, always being the best at defending. Germany, always by far, are the most disciplined out of every country. Argentina are always playing like they are fighting a war, always being the most aggressive and passionate. Spain always follow a possession tiki-taka type of football. Now to England, well, all they have are superstars. They don't have a certain principle or tactic or style that they have been consistently following throughout the years. They keep changing their identity with every new manager that takes over. And no matter how good your players are, the system always beats the individual. The second reason is actually the English players might not be as good as you think they are. And that is due to the media and press always overhyping them. There are lots of good English players, but they are not at the best of the best levels. There has never been an English player who is on par with players like Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi or the older Ronaldo or Cruyff or Di Stefano or Pelé. Look at the list of Ballon d'Ors. They rarely win it. And although the Premier League is considered the best league in the world, the English players usually suffer in the other competitive leagues. While there are some few who made it, like Harry Kane with Bayern Munich and Jude Bellingham with Real Madrid, there are a lot more who flopped, like Michael Owen, Jonathan Woodgate, and David Beckham with Real Madrid, Paul Gascoigne at Lazio, Ashley Cole with Roma, Micah Richards with Fiorentina. And if you are wondering how did their local teams manage to be very successful throughout Europe in the Champions League, well, that is actually because they depend a lot on the foreign players. For instance, look at the 2008 UEFA Champions League final between the 2 English teams, Manchester United and Chelsea. Look at the lineup. check out how many English players there are between the 22 players in the starting 11. Only 10. Less than half the players on the field. Maybe there are many on the bench? Let's check the bench. There is not a single English player on the bench, which emphasizes the significance of foreign players for English Premier League team success in the Champions League, which by and large proves why the quality of the English players is sometimes overblown. Just look at the 2004 invincible Arsenal most used starting 11. Only Ashley Cole and Sol Campbell are English. Now to the third reason, penalties. They always lose in penalty shootouts, which is a very serious reason why they don't get any trophy. Being good at penalty shootouts is very important, especially in international tournaments where they only play one game instead of the home and away game that club football is used to, which means a draw is much more likely because you don't get to score as much goals, which means penalty shootouts happen more at an international level. And we've seen so many successful campaigns that were dependent on penalty shootouts for their success, like Argentina in the 2022 World Cup against Netherlands in the quarter-final and France in the final. Italy in the Euro 2020 final against, well, drum rolls, England. Spain wouldn't have won Euro 2012 if they had lost to Portugal in the penalty shootouts in the semi-final. Italy in the 2006 World Cup final, Brazil in the 1994 World Cup final. We could keep going, the list just never ends, which shows how important being good at penalties at international competitions is. Now let's look at England's penalty shootout history at major competitions. They played 10 penalty shootouts throughout their history and only won 3 of them, which highlights a major number of the times they got knocked out from a competition and didn't get to advance to later stages where they could have had a serious shot at the silverware. And a huge part of why they always come short on the penalty shootouts is the media pressure, which affects players the most when it comes to penalty shootouts, since that is the most part of the game that needs a good mental preparation. It even affects normal penalties in the middle of the game, not just the shootout at the end, and we've seen that with Harry Kane's penalty miss against France in the 2022 World Cup quarter-final, which cost them the game and got them knocked out. Reason number 4. Like we just mentioned in the previous reason, the media pressure. But it doesn't just affect penalties, it also affects overall performance. And the English media is always known to be so cruel, overhyping and setting very high expectations, only to quickly find it raining criticism everywhere when the expectations are not met immediately. And the echo of that criticism is very high, maybe having the biggest effect out of any other country, given that the British media is known to be the most popular in the whole world, having extremely huge and established media outlets like BBC, Sky News, and The Guardian. And that pressure also gets the players to make naive mistakes that cost them very important knockout games, like, as we mentioned, Harry Kane's penalty miss against France in the 2022 World Cup, like the free kick goal David Seaman conceded in 2002 against Brazil that got them knocked out, which he should have been able to save, like Beckham snapping at Diego Simeone in the 1998 World Cup against Argentina that got him sent off with an unnecessary red card and made England at a disadvantage, although they were the better side. Same situation happened in the 2006 World Cup with Rooney against Portugal. And by the way, they lost both games in the penalty shootout. And the 5th and last reason, their stacked match schedule. While most of the leagues have 2 tournaments, being a point-based system league and a knockout-based cup competition, England is just an outlier. They have a league system and 2 very competitive knockout-based cup competitions instead of 1, which are the FA Cup and the EFL Cup. And what ends up happening is a very huge number of games in a season, more than any other country, due to them competing in 3 local tournaments, and there is no time for rest. During the Christmas and New Year holidays, every single league in Europe is off except for one, well, you probably guessed it right, the English Premier League. And the result of that is an over-fatigued English national team that do not retain 100% of their energy during the summer when competing for international glory. So do you agree with those reasons? Or do you think that there was another reason that might have been missed? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.